Hi, my name is Josie Kinsella Schwartz, and I have made an affirmation card deck for people in recovery from an eating disorder as my capstone project for digital multimedia design at Penn State. The name of my project is Blossom and Heal, Recovering from an Eating Disorder Together. Basically, my project is an affirmation card deck that also helps you build recovery skills for recovering from an eating disorder. So when I was in treatment, I would take note cards, I would write affirmations, draw a little picture, and then put it on my wall so I had a constant reminder during difficult meals and also just difficult moments in general during treatment and in recovery. They come up very often, and I think it's important to be able to have a reminder so you can continue that recovery process, especially when you get home from residential treatment or even partial hospitalization. So my card deck is supposed to help with all of that. You'll see on the screen here, there's an affirmation on the front of the card and an illustration, and there's also a number at the bottom of the card, and that coordinates with a recovery skill in the user guide. And it tells you, it has a picture of the affirmation card and the recovery skill that coordinates with it and how to engage in that recovery skill. So here you just see a few more examples of the affirmation cards. One of the things that I wanted to make sure I did was create something that is beautiful and meaningful and that they can incorporate in their everyday lives. I don't want it to be something that they just look at once and then put away in a drawer or something like that. It's supposed to be something that you engage in over and over so that you can build those skills and also reframe your thinking. So for research, I had to do quite a bit of research on the design aspects, but also I needed to make sure that my recovery skills were supported and that the affirmations were specifically targeted toward people in recovery for an eating disorder. So I looked at tons of card games and card decks. The mindfulness game, Happy Hearts, right here. That one helps you build mindfulness skills. And the affirmators morning mantras here, I liked that one because it heavily relies on building a routine. So that's what I wanted to do with my affirmation cards. This one you do in the morning, and then this one they have you do in the evening. So it was interesting to me that they had different ones for different times of day, because then it's more likely that the user is going to use them because, okay, hey, it's the morning, I got to use my affirmation card. Evening, I use this one. So that was really appealing to me. What I liked about this one in the corner, that one reminded me of a Magic 8 Ball, so it was very nostalgic. And then the Shined Minds, that one helped you build coping skills and mindfulness and had calming exercises in there. So I wanted to figure out how I could incorporate all of this into one thing and also have it be specific towards eating disorders, because I didn't find anything that was specific towards them. There were some that had like body image and stuff like that, but it wasn't eating disorder specific. So that was my goal. The production process was, again, very extensive on the research side, and then the market research, I made surveys, I talked with individuals in that I went to residential treatment with, just to get an idea of, is this something you would use, and is it something that you would use over and over again? So I was then able to create personas that gave me an idea of the goals, the pain points, the needs and motivations of different people and different kinds of users that would be using my product. So one of the things that I found was that while they have different personalities, they have different experiences, and everything in between, the common denominator was that they didn't, when they got home from treatment, it was difficult because they didn't have access to the resources they did while they were in treatment. So, being able to have a reminder in those difficult times when you're home is very, very important. So, let's see here. I started out with this on the right hand side. So this little arch that I had, I liked it in the beginning, but then someone told me that it reminded them of a tombstone. So I was like, that is exactly the opposite of what I was going for. I want it to be life, uplifting, and motivational and encouraging. So then I switched to the left side, and I was adamant about keeping the recovery skill with the affirmation, because I didn't want to complicate it more and have anybody be able to use the excuse like I have to go and look it up in a book to find the recovery skill. But ultimately, it was very chaotic having all of that information in one. It didn't leave a lot of room for, you know, making sure that everything was very detailed. So I switched, and I used the backside. I just had just a flat, or not flat, but the same design, and on the front is where everything changes. So there are numbers on the bottom, like I mentioned before, the affirmation, and then the illustration that goes with it. And then on the back, this is the design for every single card. And so this number you can see in the user guide. It comes up here, there's the affirmation, here's the recovery skill, and this is how you do that recovery skill. So the more people see these, the more that they're gonna be familiar with the recovery skill, and they'll be able to associate it with that affirmation, and eventually they won't need the user guide, except maybe like every once in a while when they forget or something like that. But this is supposed to be used over and over again to reframe your thinking and to be more positive. That's the goal of the affirmation. And then also to be able to use your recovery skills during difficult times without panicking or getting frozen. So that was my goal, and eventually I do want to make this longer than a 31-day card deck, and then I also would love to expand it to different areas. So anxiety, depression, suicidal ideations, anything like that. And I would also love to make it into a journal. So I actually am working on a journal where the prompt is the affirmation, and then the user creates the illustration, and that is coupled with a recovery skill as well. So I have big hopes for all of this. I want to make a difference. I want to help people, and I think that that's what my project does. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I am so grateful.